Welcome to Great Insights. I'm Sinjin Piano, CTO at Solidi Exchange and a blockchain advisor at Tela Network. I have a couple of quotes here today that I really enjoyed. First quote is from Theodore Dalrymple, a British commentator and writer. The successful politician of today seems to have no mental or cultural hinterland, no real character other than ambition and a desire for the limelight. This is not an entirely new phenomenon. Maynard Keynes was once asked what he thought Lloyd George, the British politician, thought about when he was on his own. And he replied that when Lloyd George was on his own, there was nobody there. In other words, he needed an audience to exist, even for himself. Such a type is brought forth by the possibility of a constant audience, and therefore there has never been a time more propitious for the multiplication of the type than the present, when possibilities of mass communication for all have resulted in mass narcissism. Never in the field of human history has so much drivel been communicated to so many with such persistence. Our first sponsor for this episode is Legala. That's legala.app, legal, and then an A, and then .app. Legala uses artificial intelligence to automate client interviews, gather key facts, and free up valuable time for what really matters, your legal work. So, if you're a lawyer who has to spend a lot of time dealing with client intake, this might be good for you. The second quotation, which is rather longer, it's more of an excerpt, is from Rob K. Henderson, American commentator and writer. I'll put the links in the description below. Quote, or rather excerpt. There's a scene in the 1999 cult classic film Office Space where the protagonist is asked what he'd do if he had $1 million. After a few crude jokes, he pauses and says, "Nothing. I would relax. I would sit on my ass all day. I would do nothing." Most men, particularly young men, would far prefer this mode of living as opposed to, say, being a domineering tyrant or a responsible authority figure. Mature masculinity is artificially induced through culture. Mature men do not naturally emerge like butterflies from boyish cocoons. Rather, they must be carefully encouraged, nurtured, counseled, and prodded into taking the actions necessary to achieve mature manhood. Gilmore writes, "Manhood is a cultural construct based on group needs that overlays and counteracts a hesitant and resisting nature." It's very important. I think that is the default nature of men, hesitant and resisting. That ties into something I read from a female writer recently, which was, she said most men go through life as if it were an imposition. And that struck me, that as a woman, that would be difficult to be around. To continue, in other words, manhood exists to push against this default setting, self-indulgence and avoidance of responsibility. Social conservatives often assume that men naturally want to be good husbands and fathers. If that were true, ancient Rome would not have needed laws against bachelorhood. It took serious effort to get men to take on those roles. Progressives make a similar mistake, assuming that men desire power and control. But most young men today aren't power hungry. They're increasingly checked out. This is why cultures around the world created rituals to shape boys into men. As the psychologist Roy Baumeister has written, in many societies, any girl who grows up automatically becomes a woman. Meanwhile, a boy does not automatically become a man, and instead is often required to prove himself, usually by passing stringent tests or producing more than he consumes. That's the end of the excerpt. Yes, one of the very bad parts about our time, our culture, is the lack of structured ritual, which we need. It's part of our nature, and we're not doing it. Our second sponsor is Solidi Exchange. Solidi offers the opportunity of crypto with complete UK accountability. Solidi is FCA registered and UK based. Its platform supports fast, simple purchase of Bitcoin and several other major coins, and it offers a phone-based OTC service for any other coins. There we are. If you have enjoyed this episode, please do click like. That's the easiest way to support the channel. If you would like to see future episodes in your feed, click subscribe. And if you have any ideas for future topics, my contact details are in the description. All right, that's it for now. Thank you.